Gender socialization, a forced perspective of a domestic violent relationship. Gender socialization, the process of learning the association with one sex based on societal beliefs, values, attitudes, and social expectations. Throughout history, women in heterosexual relationships traditionally have been known to most commonly become a victim of domestic violence. Many assume that domestic violence only occurs in poverty-stricken households with substance problems, where women are too economically downtrodden and uneducated to leave. These concepts have become molded false truth by society. In this video, we see an example of how domestic violence is introduced to various environments of different age groups of men. Although the video is aiding through raising awareness, we do not see other existing variables. For instance, female dominance in violent relationship theory is silent. The concept that a woman can abuse a man in an intimate relationship has been refuted. This is because of the traditional perspective that women are weaker than men, which raises the question, how can a woman have physical power over a man? To this day, this idea is still relevant but not truly accurate. From the article, "It's Time to Acknowledge Male Victims of Domestic Violence," states the following data below. According to the CDC, 1 in 4 adult men in the U.S. will become a victim of domestic violence during his lifetime. 3 million male domestic violence victims every year are reported, or 1 man in America abused by an intimate or domestic partner is occurring every 37.8 seconds. A same-sex domestic violence epidemic is silent as well. The idea that a woman can be the one who's abusive throws a wrench in the traditional view. The idea that only men can be betters makes it a lot harder for men to access to shelter. This is an article, and below is a following example of a story. The second time was worse. He was angry at something. I can't remember what, and I was laughing, said Chris. James again became enraged, strode into the kitchen, grabbed a butcher knife. He pulled me by my hair, had me on my knees, and held a butcher knife at my neck. What is domestic violence? Domestic violence is the willful intimidation, physical assault, battery, sexual assault, and or other abusive behavior as part of a systematic pattern of power and control perpetuated by one intimate partner against another. What has caused societies to stereotype violent relationships? Theory 1. Culture. Idea that in a large pluralistic societies, some subcultures develop norms that permit the use of physical violence to a greater degree than the dominant culture. Thus, family violence will occur more frequently in violent societies than in peaceful ones. Peer relationships that support patriarchal dominance in the family and use of violence to support it are exemplary of this subculture. This theory has also produced theories that examples from pornography and violent images on TV can show a support of culture of violence against women. Theory 2. Ecological. This theory attempts to link violence in the family to a broader social environment. This includes the culture, the formal and informal social networks of the family, the closer family setting and circumstances, and the family history. This type of framework sets up a bias for a risk theory of domestic assault based on a given criteria. What do you think when you hear the phrase, an abusive relationship? It is very common to picture this image. That does not account for the more examples of domestic violence that exist today. My experiment. Interviewing 30 people, 15 female, 15 male. Random selection. Chosen by choice to enter Aquinas Hall. Using the two pictures randomly for both genders of the participants. Pictures of male and female are extracted from the internet. Proceeded to ask volunteers if they could answer a couple of survey questions. After agreement, then asked interview questions, recorded answers, and other data. This image of a woman with a bruised eye was used with these questions. Who do you think hit this woman? Why do you think she was hit? Do you think this woman voluntarily got help? Second image was of a man with the same interview questions and the same slight bruising on his face. Results. Picture of a female. For the first question, who do you think hit this woman? 13 out of 15 participants answered a male. For the second question, why do you think she was hit? The majority of answers was the following. She must have said something she should not have. For the third question, do you think this woman voluntarily got help? The majority of people interviewed responded with no, she did not. Picture of a male. For the first question, who do you think hit this man? All 15 participants answered a male. For the second question, why do you think he was hit? The majority of answers was the following. He was most likely in a brawl fight with another male. For the third question, do you think this man voluntarily got help? The majority of answers was the following. No, he did not, because he probably can handle the situation himself. Conclusion. Interview proved the theory that society assumes men are expected to hit women as so are men expected to hit men. Greater than the concept that a man can be hit by a woman just as much as a woman can be hit by another woman, along with a man hit by another man, all factors being in an intimate relationship. It was also assumed that both the female and male have had said something as wrong as an excuse or to provoke for another person to resort to violence. Again, it was assumed that neither the male nor the woman would seek help for the following reasons. The woman was to be too frightened to get help, or the man was said to be tough enough to handle the situation on his own. How do we defeat this stereotype? Further the awareness of the fact that domestic violence and abuse can happen to anyone regardless of gender, race, ethnicity, sexual orientation, income, or other factors. Remember that any individual can become an ignored victim of domestic violence.